and how, like, seeing the reactions of members of our community rather than coming out and pitching in to ensure that the BVI was safe or that we can, assist. They were like, oh, it was a bad idea, terrible decision, etc., etc. So in terms of that, it was them or make us wonder, what are our people thinking?
Oh, okay. And I guess y'all have shared the same views. Yeah. So y'all you didn't think it was a bad decision?
There were pros and cons to it, but I think I get where the premier was coming from. Each one, if everyone pitching, we can build back faster.
So you didn't think that we really needed that help? That we could have, well, I mean, I guess it's obvious we have been doing it ourselves. And so, I don't know. You thought that it was better for us that we did it ourselves instead of accepting the help?
I feel like if we did it ourselves and we see where we come from and where we reach in the long term, I think it will give people a better feeling, a better understanding. Like, yeah, we did this on our own. We didn't need any help.
So how does that relate to us taking an opportunity, I guess? Did you see it as an opportunity, I should ask? Did you see it as an opportunity for us to come together as a community?
Definitely.
It was a perfect opportunity for everyone who, personally, I would have never expected to reach out to the community and reach out and help. I saw a lot of persons going out there doing what they were supposed to do. Even like in Purcell, when it started flooding, no one asked those guys to go out there, but they did it on their own. And it was a good thing to see.
Okay, so you feel then that at least in the BVI, our humanity is more community minded, or you feel that as many persons that could have come out did not come out?
I think more persons could have come out.
Definitely.
Okay, so you're saying, so is it that are we becoming, in your view, from your perspective, we're becoming less community minded?
I believe we depend heavily on the government to assist. So rather than, like, for example, I know a lot of persons came out on social media, but then they expected, once they heard that there was a disaster fund, they were like, okay, we don't need to do anything anymore. So I think we rely heavily on the government's assistance rather than helping one another. We have gone past the fact of my neighbor is my friend to now asking for handouts, writing letters for government assistance.
Okay. Well, as Rotaractors, how many members in your club?
42.
42? And how many of that 42 came out?
I think, well, a good majority.
So you had more than 22?
We did.
We had more than 22 Rotaractors came out in different areas of the community to help.
Because we did different projects, and I was in here, so President Tunisha could shed some light. We assisted with Queen Elizabeth Park.
Queen Elizabeth Park. We assisted the Botanical Garden, and we also assisted the Rotary BVI in the food drive initiative that they had at the various supermarkets.
Okay, and so your view is that at least your clubs, you feel that the Rotary Club made, were those persons who made a significant contribution from your perspective?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you drive?
Yes, we did.
You drive. So did you get around did you go for a tour, like?
So I actually left the BVI to go to another country festivities.
Okay.
And when I came back, well, we came through the airport, and Eastern was terrible. Like, literally, because my car is low, literally had to, like, stop, full stop, to pass. Asphalt was gone.
Seattle was slow, really, really slow. But did you have an opportunity to see guys in heavy equipment and people clearing the road, dump trucks, and do you see that activity? Okay. Because I mean, I saw something slightly different. You know, I mean, everywhere I went, you had men, and I didn't. I wasn't in with the softer part, if I could use that term, but the part where the more nurturing part, where people were coming to homes with food and clothing and blankets and you know things like that. I was out seeing the men in their heavy equipment, their backhoes, high max, dump trucks, moving earth, clearing roads, that sort of stuff. So I got the feeling like the community was really mobilizing. I took part in some of the cleanups on the street with Rotary, a couple of Rotary clubs, which I thought could have been more, you know, but I don't know. But generally speaking, from your perspective, not just with the flood, but as a community, what are you feeling? You are in service organizations, you do projects. Are you having problems recruiting other members to come and join you? Are you seeing a change in volunteerism, service-oriented individuals? I mean, what are you seeing as young people from your perspective?
Well, from my perspective, because this is actually my third year in being in a club, and people join the organization for different reasons, and because it's professional based, we focus so much on growing as professionals. I feel like people don't necessarily join an organization for community service, but to build themselves and grow their network.
I differ from what she says.
Yeah,
Because
I suspect so.
I believe that some people do join for professional development, but some people do join for the community service aspect. You have some people who, plain and simple, they want to do community service, and there might be some who might not. You know?
So in all things, you have persons with different
Interests,
motivations, different motivations, right? And so, do you think that perhaps that's well, do you? I mean, that's your view. Do you think that perhaps that's a perception that the public may have of Rotarians? That maybe more persons don't join because they think that the club is, you know, on a sort of like a different class level.
Yeah, I think a lot of persons in the community think it's an elite club, but I think that's
What do you say? Well, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's a misconception because you're just looking at the outside community. You're not seeing, you might see Reba and I together, but you don't see everyone who's in the club. If you don't come, see what we're doing, come and find out more about the club. So I feel like it's not a justified.
So, has this been going on for some time though?
For years.
Okay, and so when did you join the club?
Well, I joined when I was in college. I joined Rotary Club when I was in college. It was something to do, but then when I came home and you get to meet the Rotaractors in Tortola, and you just get a good vibe, even if you're doing community service, we always try to have fun, you develop yourself professionally, and I feel like they help motivate you, even personally, some of the endeavors that you might have.
So you were in a Rotary Club in another country?
Yes, I was in UVI, University of the Virgin Islands.
Oh, okay. So you were a Rotary Club in St. Thomas. Yeah. Okay, and you joined here?
Yeah. So I joined shortly after coming home from school, and I joined, well, for similar reason. It was something to do, network, and from the Facebook page, I enjoyed seeing young people making a difference in our territory. So it was, I like what they're doing. Let me see for myself.
Okay, so you wanted to do some service and to have a group that you could be a part of and have friends and so on. I mean, why do you think that the Rotary clubs and now the Rotaractors, it seems like, have allowed that image to persist.
It isn't that we have allowed it, we have tried to combat
Definitely
it,
tried.
but it's only so much you can do. If persons don't want to come out and see what we're doing, what we are about, or who is in the club.
Well, I mean, you said something that's interesting where members of the club seem to have a certain, already have a certain standard. That mean that's what I'm getting. So you're both college graduates, right? So it seems like you have to be a college graduate.
No! You do not. You just have to be 18 to 30. That's it.
That's it. and not only does it seem that you have to be a college graduate, but it seems as though you have to be of a certain education level, be able to articulate certain things. Or did you learn that in the club? I mean, you guys are very poised, and you sit here and you talk and you speak proper English, and I suspect that that's because of your educational background.
Well,
but what did you learn in the club that was different and also helped you to become who you are now?
Okay.
I can
Go ahead.
I can say personally, public speaking. The Tunisia before Rotary Club of UVI would have never been on this show right now, ever. It's helped me develop professionally. I felt like I came out of my shell. I'm more outgoing now, so it's developed me professionally.
And for me, well, I always talk about my Miss BVI experience, and I believe that the Rotary Club of Tortola professional development, the difference, because I think that guided me. Because before that, I never stood up and spoke to a group of people before, to the point that I can feel comfortable to sit here in front of you. So I think if it wasn't for the club, for the different things that we do, I would never have been that way.
So the club offers a young person some good personal development. Okay, while you're doing community service, service to the community. Okay, but you seem to be feeling well, generally, including the whole world, have you been looking at humanity from that broad perspective? Because when you give me a topic like humanity, community-minded, or selfish, it's like you're asking the question: are human beings becoming less community-minded and more selfish? And so, are you looking from a global perspective, or are you looking at it from a Virgin Island perspective, from BVI perspective? Are you examining this question from all humanity when you watch television, you look at the news from around the world, and you hear about things happening, and you see people's reactions, and you see people in need and not being helped, and I mean, are you taking humanity from that broader sense, or humanity from the parochial sense, or the narrow sense? So you're just looking at the BVI? Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so you have come to a conclusion, particularly with the instance of the heavy rains that we've had in the flooding and some of the destruction that we've faced. You're looking at it from this perspective, and that makes you feel how?
That we're more selfish. I honestly feel like just seeing the comments on social media about the decision and other things too. I really believe selfish.
I like to define. I think some people really impressed me. Some people came out, did things I would have never expected. So I believe that we are somewhat community-minded.
Oh, okay.
Because especially on Facebook, some of the things that I've seen people post, I would have never guessed that. And that's just the person who posts what they do. That person who do things that they don't want about to know. This is what I'm doing. So.
And so the decision of the premier disturbed both of you.
Not that it disturbed.
Or the reaction to it. The reaction to the decision disturbed both of you. Yes? No? Yeah, I think like you got two different views. I thought you had the same.
Oh.
Okay, so.
It's supposed to be on the same page.
You change the view when you got to the front of the TV. But okay, so that's a really sticking point, that whole decision thing. Did you wonder why the premier would make a decision like that?
Yeah, I asked actually, because I asked questions like these. Why would he do that? And someone broke it down to me, and I was like, he has a valid point. Each one, everyone came out, did their part. We could have been back faster.
So, let me be clear. What exactly did you hear regarding the premier's decision?
Well, I heard that.
Well, basically what I heard was that he decided not to let the ship come in because he believed BVI is 30,000. 30,000, and that we should be able to assist in rebuilding our community. Which I agree.
So we
Everyone, because everyone wasn't affected.
Yeah.
Everyone really and truly was. There are some houses that was untouched. You know, everyone wasn't really affected. So you help your neighbor, find out what your neighbor needs.
Okay, so you thought that you know, if that was his decision, that was fine. Because I mean, I heard something else.
Tell us what you heard.
I want to know.
Well, one of the things that I understood was that we would have had to relinquish our control to the ship, to the UK and to the ship. And accepting that kind of help might have sent the wrong signal to the international community that the disaster was, or the challenge is that we face after the flood was really greater than it really was. And that may have had a negative economic impact on the country, particularly regarding tourism. Person might have canceled their bookings because they might say, oh, British had to go in, the British government, the UK government had to go into the Virgin Islands and take over control and fix the disaster. And so they couldn't handle it themselves. And therefore, you know, I don't think we should go down there right now. We should maybe cancel our booking and come back when they got things straightened out. And so for, I guess, socioeconomic reasons, that decision was taken. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is either.
Because I heard something similar, but I didn't know how true it was.
But I was just wondering, because you know, we have a tendency to hear things and not investigate, and then think that what we believe is what we know. You know, and I always try to not fall into that. You know, so even though that's what I heard, I don't know that to be true. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say I know that is a fact. Yeah. So I just want to make that clear. But it's good to see you. You got something coming up because you're on the Terminator Club. They have something coming up. I don't know, but I hope that you don't continue to think that we or the view does not continue to persist that we are not remaining community minded. You know, I think we have gotten busy and we've had to struggle a little more to survive. And so when you're in situations like that, you know, you tend to focus more inwardly, because if I can't feed myself, I can't help feed you. You know, so maybe those are some of the things that's in there. But I'm hoping that you keep that community spirit going and try to improve it and encourage more and more people to join the service organizations, and and keep the country running good. But you got something coming up I want you to talk about briefly before we go, which is your upcoming event this weekend.
Yes.
What is that?
It's called Roots and Mingle. It's a networking event for persons in the community, young professionals to come out and mingle with us, find out about Rotaract, find out what we do, and see if you like it. Just come and...
Okay, so come and check out the Rotaract Club's Rotary Mingle Friday at 5:30 at Mayette Steel Zone.
Mayette Steel Zone.
Friday, September 4th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pear Park.
Yeah. And you just said, I just heard you say young professionals.
But I said community, the community to everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. It's free. Everyone is welcome. Come and socialize with us.
So you see, but you gotta be careful.
No, but what is a professional? What do you consider professional?
But I don't know. What do you
Exactly.
consider? But that's the whole thing, though. When you say
Everyone
young
has a
professionals.
profession.
Yeah, young professionals. I mean, so I guess it doesn't make sense of recruiting persons who don't have anything to give. Because how you gonna say?
I mean, everyone can give.
Everyone has something to
Everyone
give.
can give. Yeah.
Everybody has something to give. You might not be community service wise, but we have something there for you.
Then perhaps you might need to look at your language. Because your language perhaps creating your image. And
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
It could be the way you word it, but what is a
Yeah.
professional?
Yeah.
Everyone can be a professional.
But your language, have certain suggestions in, like when people read between the lines. It's like what you say is not necessarily what people hear. Because I heard something different.
And that's okay. I understand.
I heard something
I
different.
understand.
I heard the very thing that you don't want me to hear.
It's how you interpret it,
Exactly how I interpret it. I interpret what you said to mean the very thing that you don't want to mean. You see how that is? Yeah. So you gotta watch that. So you gotta change that language so that it sounds more inclusive, and then perhaps people will start looking at you and looking at the club in the way you want them to look at the club. But yeah, it was good to see you. Thanks for coming by and having an interesting discussion. And come back anytime. All right. We're going to take a break for a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to come back with Pastors Walter Barrett and Pastor Albert Tompkins. And we're going to talk about our young men. Yes, indeed. Our young men is coming into the spotlight. We gotta do something. Seem like, because women complaining. A young lady tell me the other day, am I gonna marry any of them guys you see there? Their pants down below their butt. They promoting their underwear.
Some of them like it like that.
So the women like it like that?
Some of them.
That's true?
Some of them. Not me, but some of them.
Lord have
They must
mercy.
like
You
it.
need to have a session with the young women too, right? It ain't just the men, huh? We're going to take a break from our sponsor. We'll be right back. We're going to be right back with Pastor Barrett, Walter Barrett, and Pastor Albert Tompkins. Keep it right here.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited and CTL Home Center. The best products for the lowest prices, period.